Welcome grade 12 students! This video for your practical research 2 will cover lesson 2, identifying and stating the problem. In the first video, you were given an overview about what quantitative research is. This video focuses on how you can come up with a good research title. To begin with, let's ask ourselves the questions. Am I interested in describing a sample or an outcome? Or looking at how groups differ? Or how groups are related? Or in creating a new skill or instrument? Or in assessing reliability or validity of an instrument? Let's recall the different types of quantitative research. In the last video, we had the 4 types of quantitative research. These are descriptive, correlational, causal comparative, and experimental. Okay, you will see here the breakdown of these types of research in relation to research design. But first, let's have some examples of problems or titles that are under quantitative research. You should notice that all these topics draw numerical data. Of course, they are quantitative research, and quantitative research utilizes numbers in data analysis. The question is, can you write your own research title at an instant? Let's define a research topic. What is a research topic? Okay. We can describe a research topic or problem as an intellectual stimulus calling for an answer in the form of scientific inquiry, or a general statement about relations among variables or characteristics of the phenomenon which a researcher needs to undertake. What are the good sources of research topics? I have here some tips for research topics or problems. Number 1, prevailing theories or philosophies. For example, learning starts at home. So that is a common theory among people. You can think of a problem from that theory. Let's say you can study about how parents manage to still have time for their children, or how environment at home can affect the learning capacity of the children, and many others. Number 2, observations, intuitions, or combination of both. For example, you observe that some kids in your neighborhood are going out even late at night, or you wonder why some people get addicted to drugs, cigarette smoking, online gaming, and so on. You can create a problem for research from these observations or your own intuitions. Number 3, different subjects taken and from them identify a problem that interests a student researcher. For beginners like you can check completed studies or researches. You can do the same research since qualitative research is replicable, or create a problem related to these topics. For as long as they are aligned with your interest or field, you can come up with a problem of your own from these completed or available researches. Number 4, fields of interest or specialization or event from related fields. As we said, it would be easier to think or create problem that is related to your field or interest. Number 5, existing problems in school which one may want to solve. There are a lot of topics on this. They may be related to students, academic performance, behavior, difficulties, or school system, policies, or teachers' strategies or difficulties. Many problems can be formed from that are related to school. Number 6, existing needs of the community or society. Many problems can be drawn from the existing needs of the community. For some topics, we have wastes, domestic violence, disputes, marital problems, drugs, liquor, drinking, and many others. 7, repetition or extension of investigations already conducted or may be offshoot of studies underway. As we have emphasized, quantitative researches can be repeated to provide supporting evidences or information for more related studies and literature. 8, related studies and literature. Speaking of related studies and literature. So again, you can conduct study that has been conducted and made available for literature and related studies to provide supporting data about certain relevant topics. 9, advice or authorities or experts from the funding agencies. This is especially when you are about to receive scholarships, sponsorships, or fundings for research undertakings. Number 10, offshoots of friendly conversations. You can come up with ideas or topics from simple conversations with your friends, family, neighbors, or other people. And lastly, incidental from interesting topics of professors during course meeting or session. For example, you went to the market or grocery. You may hear something interesting. You get curious. You suddenly thought of a good topic for a research, or let's say during a class discussion something came up and then you thought of an interesting topic for a research. So these are some of the good sources for qualitative research topics. Let's now go to some considerations in selecting topics, research topics. Number 1, in selecting a topic, it should be something new or different from what has already been written about. One criteria for a research topic is it must be novel, something new, something that has not been studied. But there are topics that need to be studied more about. You just need to consider providing new things about the same topic. You can conduct research on the same topic provided that you can offer or provide new or novel information about that topic. You have to be able to tell what topics are well studied already and which topics will establish new facts about that topic or those topics. Number 2, your topic must be original. Of course, your title at least is original. Your topic may have similarity with other researches that have been undertaken, but at least your title is original or different. You have to exert a little effort on this one. Number 3, it should be significant to the field of study or discipline. A research is not worth conducting if it has no significant impact. A research should fill up a certain gap in a certain field. For example, many studies about students' performance have been conducted by many researchers, and many theories have been established about this. But has there been a study about the performance of senior high school, for example, in the Philippines in relation to the preparedness of students in the current curriculum? Or studies that or let's say established theories about how these students can become successful in their chosen strand or field? Since K-12 curriculum has just been implemented in the Philippines, many researches can be conducted that can pass to the criteria of being novel or new. So that's a good pointer already. Number 4, research topics must necessarily arouse intellectual curiosity, especially if your topic is something very new. It could easily catch interest. 5, it should also be the researcher's interest and he must be with the topic. This means that the researcher must focus on his topic during the course of his research undertaking. Number 6, the topic should be modest for a beginning to be carried with a limited period of time. Consider time frame when forming or thinking of a research problem. Number 7, it should be clear, not ambiguous. It is important to state the topic clearly, not only for the readers later on, but more importantly for your own undertaking. Your work would be smoother if variables are clearly identified as included in your title. Number 8, topic should be specific, not general. In your PR1, you were taught how to narrow down research topic. This is to clearly define techniques in doing the research. Number 9, topic should consider the training and personal qualification of the researcher. This is too important as your consideration given that you're only beginners in doing research. There are a lot of things that you need to learn, no, before you can become a full-fledged researcher, so to speak. So, know your capacity and choose wisely your research topic. Number 10, topics should consider the availability of data involved in the study and the methods and techniques to be employed in gathering them. Being beginners, you should also consider your capacity in terms of collecting data. With limited capacity and resources, probably choose topic wherein you can easily collect or access data. 11, topics should consider the availability of effective instruments for gathering data and their treatment. Again, for beginners like you, it is advisable that you use readily available, validated instruments. Though you also need to know how to construct and validate research instruments. Maybe you can learn from those from your class sessions or from your readily available materials or instruments. In terms of data analysis, there is also the popular SPSS for easier treatment of data. You can also use the Microsoft Excel, but it is important that you know how to handle, organize, and interpret the data later on. 12, topics should consider financial capacity of the researcher to support the project. Being students, you have limited resources. Grouping for a research work is done to address this concern. However, learning of the entire research undertaking may be compromised for some unavoidable reasons. Of course, you know these problems associated with group projects or activities. And lastly, you should know the time factor involved in the undertaking. You cannot choose a research topic that you cannot finish within the prescribed time frame. So those are the things that you need to consider in choosing a topic or a problem for a research work. Let's now move on to guidelines in writing a research title. We have here selected guidelines in formulation of a research title. Number 1, the title must contain the following: research subject, setting or locale of the study, respondents or participants involved in the study, and time or period when the study is conducted. For example, your title is like this: Factors affecting the academic performance of senior high school students of Malinta National High School in school year 2020-2021. So, what do we have here? We have the academic performance as our main subject. We have Malinta National High School as our setting. We have senior high school students as our respondents. And we have school year 2020-2021 as our period for the study. So, you see the complete elements in our sample title. Let's go to number 2. Okay, so as I said, your title must contain the following elements. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, the title must be broad enough to include all aspects of the study, but should be brief and concise as possible. With the same title as my example, we can see that the title is complete with all the elements of a title. But you will notice it is quite long. It has how many? 1, 2, 3. We have more than 20, if I'm not mistaken. Again, that's factors affecting the academic performance of senior high school students of Malinta National High School in school year 2020-2021. So, that's most probably more than 20 words all in all. Is it acceptable? Let's find out as we go along on the guidelines. Can we reduce the number of words and make it shorter? Let's see later. Meanwhile, let's have number 3. The use of terms as analysis of, an investigation of, an assessment of, and the like should be avoided because these are already assumed with the title. For example, instead of writing an evaluation of the effect, for example, you are given the title, an evaluation of the effect of use of virtual classroom on the overall academic performance of the senior high school students of Malinta National High School. You may simply write, this is quite a long title. So, you may simply cut it to or write this as the effect of virtual classroom on the performance of students in Malinta National High School. So, you can delete an investigation of, an evaluation of, or an assessment because that is already given in the title. That is also already assumed. Let's go to number 4. If the title contains more than one line, it should be written inverted pyramid. I'm sure you know this by now. If the title is short, you can have a 2-line title. Of course, the first liner is longer than the second. If longer, you know the inverted pyramid guideline in writing a title. Okay? Next, number 5. When typed or encoded in the title, all words in the title should be in the capital letters. This is done for your completed written work. There are different guidelines when written work is for submission for other purposes. So basically, you don't use capital letters. Next. Number 6, if possible, the title should not be longer than 15 substantive words. So here it is, a maximum of 15 words. So you can make it 14 to 15 at most. Better. You need to try hard to minimize the number of words in your title. So, you may review the other guidelines. They can help for you to come up with the required number of words in your title. You review the guidelines and try hard to come up with the correct and acceptable research title. Number 7, avoid a long detailed title that gives too much information. It is right to include all the necessary elements in your title, but it is also good to keep elements that might preempt the results of the study. Remember, your research should not be predictable. Otherwise, why need to do the research when you can predict the answers to your research questions? For the last part, let's have the characteristics of a good research title. Number 1, a title should give readers information about content of the research and is preferable to what that is vague or general. Number 2, titles do not need to be stuffy or dull, but they should generally give readers some idea about outset of what the research paper will contain. After knowing the guidelines in selecting a topic or title, your research title really needs to be written correctly and completely to be valid and acceptable for a research title. Number 3, choose the title that is a phrase rather than a complete sentence. Very few research titles have a complete sentence in them. And only those researches that the sentence is needed to be written because the research is about or has something to do with that complete statement. Number 4, select a straightforward title over other kinds. Come up with a clear, not a vague title. Do not form a title that is like a jigsaw puzzle to your readers later on. Number 5, use no punctuation at the end of the title. Titles are not complete sentences that need punctuations at the end. There should be no period, question mark, or exclamation point at the end of your research title. Okay, number 6, do not underline the title of a research or enclose it in a quotation mark. Instead, use a word processing program or printer that permits italics or italicizing. Use them in place of underlining. Never underline or enclose in quotation marks your title. So that wraps up our topic in writing your research title. I hope you are more than ready now to write your own research title. Watch out for other videos for your practical research too.